a conversation program meant for interfaith couples. Please sign up. 4:30, about an hour-ish. We're going to talk about how food impacts our relationships within Judaism and other faith traditions, what we grew up with, how do we meld those together as interfaith couples. And we're looking for a couple more couples to join us. It's just a small group. But please, 18 Doors is a fantastic organization. I'm one of their fellows, and I'm here to serve.
Just go to the temple website?
So no, go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Actually, you can go to the temple website. Yes.
Okay.
Go to the temple website, and it'll click you over to a registration form for 18 Doors. And it's a great organization that we are partnering with. And so if you know other interfaith couples here in the Las Vegas area that might be interested, please tell them about it, because it's open to anyone.
I gotta get
Go
through 18 of these announcements.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
All right,
so
here we go.
announcement number 2.
Yes, announcement number 2.
Monday night,
yes.
5:45, the Board of Rabbis, of which Rabbi Olshein and I are both members. Every 45 minutes, there's going to be 2 to 3 rabbis doing a Hanukkah program. So start at 5:45, continue at 6:30, and so forth. And again, the link is on the temple website. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm with Rabbi Cohen and Rabbi Mintz. We're going to do something hopefully a little clever, a little fun about why do we light the candles from right to left, or left to right, and how many? And it's actually a pretty good discussion in the Talmud. Yeah. Number 3, Hanukkah behind the scenes with Rabbi Olshein on Tuesday. What's that about?
So we're actually going to study some of those foundational texts, because most people have never actually read the book of Maccabees. So we're going to read the book of Maccabees.
I'm gonna take out my Torah and I'm gonna look right for that story, right?
See if you can find it. Let me know.
I bet you we won't, right? That's
yes.
part of the secret, right?
Part of the secret.
Not found there. All right.
That's right.
Starting this Thursday, we begin lighting the menorah, the Chanukiah. So Rabbi Olshein, myself, and Cantor, every night of Hanukkah at 5 o'clock, you are invited to light candles with us. We are lighting candles with you. We will have some volunteers in the temple to highlight some of their programming. And we might show a little video, sing some songs. 5 p.m. without fail. It will be via Zoom, again, on our website. So a lot of things going on. A reminder, religious school through the remainder of this year is virtual, and we'll see what January brings. And let's get started. Ricky, what do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to start with Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. If you are in a prayer book, you're going to find that piece from Psalm 133 on page 128. So we join together virtually, hopefully sometime soon, in person. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov uma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, ya la ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, ya la la ya la 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 la.
If you are at home, take out your Shabbos candles in your prayer books, page 120, 121. Rabbi Olshein, the mitzvah of kindling the Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, this candle is also called the shamash.
There you go. I thought you were going to say, and this candle's been burning for the last 8 days.
No.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
The helper candle
Okay.
to light our Shabbat candles, also called it. Anyway,
Okay.
little Hanukkah trivia there,
All
or
right.
Shabbat trivia. Sorry.
That's okay. We turn to page 130 for Lachuna Ranana.
So Lachuna Ranana, in the beginning of this section, Kabbalat Shabbat, we're going to be singing a little piece of Psalm 95, then Psalm 96, then Psalm 97 tonight. We're going to try to incorporate a little bit more of the Psalms from Kabbalat Shabbat into our
Only
celebration.
150 of them if we stick with it.
We're doing 3 tonight.
That's right. Okay, only 3. All
We're going
right.
to start with Lachuna Ranana, page 130, Psalm 95. Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Lesuri Shenu, Nekad Mafana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Lesuri Shenu, Bizmira Naria Lo. Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Lachuna Ranana, Ladonai. Psalm 96, page 131, just the beginning where it sings, sing out to God a new song. Sing to God all the earth. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru Yom Le'yom Yeshuata. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru Yom Le'yom Yeshuata. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. And into Psalm 97, we find the words, Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. So he's saying, Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Continuing on page 142, we find the words Shalom Aleichem, inviting the angels into our hearts and homes each and every Shabbat. We welcome them in by saying, Shalom, peace be unto you. Enter into our homes in peace. Bless me with peace this Shabbat, and then depart in peace with the hope and the prayer that next week the angels will again return as we sing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Enter in peace, Boachem. Boachem Shalom, Boachem Asi Kaddish is found on page 144 in our prayer books, our transition prayer taking us into the evening worship. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba ve'alma tifrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala u'vizman kariv Ayimaru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mevorach, Le'alam Ulal Mehomaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar Yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalal Shemei Kedusha Brichu La Ela Min Kol Berchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damiran Be'alama Ayimaru Amen.
Those of you able, please rise for the bowl.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. Heaven spans to infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me as well? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. May be seated. We join in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochvecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught wherever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
So we have Micha Mocha, this prayer celebrating our liberation. And tonight we're going to be doing this prayer, this piece from Torah, to the melody of Ma'oz Tzur, which is one of our Hanukkah melodies. So I hope that you'll sing along as we begin to get in the Hanukkah spirit.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
So we continue with these words, Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, the third line from Hashkivenu, asking God to spread over us a shelter of God's peace. The Hashkivenu is our lullaby.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. B'Shalom.
Page 162. We'll be continuing, actually, with the Amidah tonight. And so we turn in our prayer books to page 165, where we find this piece in the second paragraph adapted from the great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. He taught us, prayer invites God's Spirit to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We'll begin on page 164 with Psalm 51 and continue on even numbered pages. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chazdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geulah livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umakayem emunato, Lishene afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umachaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh shimcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue reading through page 179 at our own individual pace. As you complete your prayers at that time, be seated. We continue with our Misha Berach list. We think of those who are impacted by COVID in our community and throughout the world. Sadly, a day doesn't go by where I don't hear the story of someone who's gotten the virus or whose loved one has been in the hospital. We pray that you stay safe, that your loved ones are safe. We think of those who are caregivers and that they are imbued with patience and strength to take care for those that they love. For those who struggle with matters of the heart and the mind, we ask that they truly like to submit a name into the web stream so that the community knows for whom you're praying, please do so now at this time. We say the names of Tina Akselrad, my sister, Amy Bennett DeFrank, Alyssa Polis, Lane Olaf, Ruth Golden, Doug Cohen, Samuel Schatz, Sarah Gordon, Fern Percheski, Jackie Chenin, Alan Chenin, Paul Chenin, Nora Seltzer, Alice McGinnis, Sugar Vogel, and Lauren Vogel and her family, and Doris Waldman and Hal Waldman. Are there other names that have come through on the web stream?
Barry Waxberg, Tracy Ann McClellan Rosenbaum, Teresa Bertelli Reen, Kay Berger, Katie Nelson, the Nelson family, the Eversole Fedrizi family, Monica Liseth Mendoza, Michael Garlick, Leslie Boren, Kelsey Broom, the Avila family, Chris Fainwood.
We think of all of our loved ones, all those who we care so much about. We join together in our Shabbat prayer.
Page 371. I would add Cantor Hutchings family, the entire family.
Entire family, absolutely. Get to remove the mask for a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better, I'm hoping. Well, good Shabbos, everyone. And, you know, one of the most asked questions about Hanukkah from Jewish people is, Rabbi, how do you spell Hanukkah? So I thought I'd give a sermon. How do you spell Hanukkah, and why is it important to know? So, how do you spell Hanukkah? Is it C-H-A-N-U-K-K-A-H? Is it H-A-N-U-K-A-H? Is it H with a little dot underneath it? A-N-N-U-K-A-H? Oh my God, there are so many different ways to spell Hanukkah. And the correct one is, drum roll, doodle-doodle-doodle. The drum roll is, they're all correct and they're all wrong. What do I mean by that? Well, Hanukkah is not an English word. It's Hebrew. So really, the only correct way to spell it is in Hebrew. And all of these English variants are simply transliterations trying to approximate the sound of a foreign word, Hanukkah. So we don't have a chet sound, a cha, and so we spell it with the CH. It could be Chanukah, or it could be the H with the dot below it, but that doesn't really work in print ads and banners. So listen, You spell Hanukkah how you want. The main thing is that you observe it. Let's look at Hanukkah, and let's see why the spelling of Hanukkah is so important. And let's get going. So you say, okay, Rabbi, you tricked us. This is kind of a short sermon, right? I mean, you told us how to spell it. You told us why it's in Hebrew. Well, it's really just the start of a sermon and really just the start of me getting on my soapbox, maybe a little bit of both. To understand why it's important to know how to spell Hanukkah is to understand the true origins of the Hanukkah story and the irony of how we celebrate it today. Forget, if you would, I know it's heresy, forget about the oil and the oil lasting for 8 days. Forget about that and look at the more structured story as it is found, not in Jewish sources, because Hanukkah took place after the Tanakh, after the Bible was canonized, and ironically enough, it's found in the Apocrypha, a Catholic source. And then later on, it'll be found a tiny bit in the Mishnah and a little bit more in the Talmud, in which the Talmud says, my Hanukkah, what's the meaning of Hanukkah? And then they explain it through the miracle of the oil in the temple. That's where that comes from. But let's go way back in time, 2,000 years. How about 165, 168, before the Common Era? The Jews are worshiping their God at the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. We have a priesthood rather than a formal rabbinate, but we also have a pattern of assimilation. Greek culture is making its way throughout this region, and people love it. They want to be Hellenized, or it's coming full board, and this entire region, and Syria, and Egypt, and what is now Israel, all of this is becoming Hellenized. Judea, also known as the land of Israel, came under the control of Antiochus, or Antiochus III, the Seleucid king of Syria, who allowed the Jews who lived there to continue practicing their religion. He didn't mind. And guess what? A lot of them did practice Judaism, and they kept true. But there were others who said, oh, we have a choice. We're kind of enamored with this new culture. It's kind of cool, and we want to fit in. But things changed with his son, Antiochus IV, Antiochus Epiphanes. He proved a little bit less benevolent. Ancient sources recount that he outlawed the Jewish religion. He had no tolerance for allowing people to choose. There was no room for diversity. Be Hellenized or leave or die. You want to worship God? Fine, but I'm God incarnate. You want to worship the Greek gods? Terrific. But don't worship this invisible God that you call Adonai. 168 BCE, his soldiers descended upon Jerusalem, massacring thousands of people, desecrating the city's holy second temple, and erected an altar to Zeus and sacrificing pigs within the sacred walls of the temple. Well, even for the secular Jews, it was too much. This crossed the line. Led by the Jewish priest Mattathias and his 5 sons, Judah being the oldest, a civil war broke out. And they fought. They fought for their religious freedom. And that's why we often learn that Hanukkah is the first historical fight for religious freedom, as it's recorded. And you know the rest of the story. They fight for several years, and eventually they make their way into the temple, and it's rededicated, which is where Hanukkah gets its name. And the rest is history. But let's wait a moment. Think back to what I just said. Before we get to King Antiochus IV, we have the third. He was benevolent. He let them choose. Go ahead, practice your religion faithfully, or you like the culture, go ahead. We'll let you in. So the Jews decided, well, maybe we'll call our sons Alexander after Alexander the Great. We really want our kids to be involved in wrestling. And so they camouflaged their circumcisions of their boys, and they wanted to root them on so that they could be part of that whole sports culture. There were Jews who adopted the garb of the Greeks, and there were Jews who said, we'll be Jewish, but we really, really want to be Hellenized. And so originally the fight was not between the Jews and King Antiochus IV and his army. Originally it was Jew versus Jew. The fight was between those Jews who wanted to embrace Judaism and the worship at the temple, and the Jews who wanted to assimilate. Fast forward to today. Does this sound familiar? Over 2,000 years later, what happens when this big culture kills us with kindness? What is it that we choose? It's so easy when people deny you the ability to practice your religion to take umbrage and say, you won't let me do it, I will die, rather than not be allowed to keep kosher and practice my religion. But when people say, you know what, we love you, you can do whatever you want and kill us with kindness, it's not an easy religion, is it, to follow? And therefore, many at that time, just like many today, began to assimilate. And that became the first challenge and the first struggle of the Hasmonean dynasty. So we've got to look at Hanukkah today. Really considered a minor holiday, I always like to tell people it has a major message. And what is that? It goes back to the central mitzvah of Hanukkah, which is lighting the candles and putting them in a public place. You can look at dwelling places through the century, and on the windowsill there was specifically a place for the menorah, for the Chanukiah. And as things got a little rough for the Jews, that's when the menorah was brought indoors and placed in a more covert place, maybe the kitchen table, so that the outside couldn't see it. We began to hide our Judaism. But what was that candle a symbol of? Well, we know about the story of the oil in the temple. But the idea that we light the menorah for all to see is the big mitzvah, and it's called Pirsum mitzvah, to publish or publicize the mitzvah, to say, I am proud to be Jewish. I am going to light this menorah, and everyone can see that I am Jewish. That is an incredible mitzvah. Because think about the war where thousands died because they were forbidden to practice their religion. Think of the hundreds and hundreds of years where people began to assimilate because they chose to forget about their religion. Think about today when so many think, oh, Hanukkah, isn't that Jewish Christmas? And can we blame them? We may be irritated by it, but can we blame people for thinking that? Because look how the celebration of Hanukkah has changed. In my father's generation, they didn't get presents every night. They got a little Hanukkah geld, very minor holiday. Today, it's almost with pride that Jewish families will say, every night I get all these presents, and the kids are so excited. And so in becoming all about the presents, it does become, in people's mind, this Jewish gift-giving, this Jewish Christmas, if you will. And it's not. But it's not unless you remember how to spell Hanukkah. Unless you remember your culture, your history, the tie to Hebrew and the Hebrew language. If you don't remember that, you don't know how to spell Hanukkah, it might as well just be a Jewish Christmas, because the meaning as a Jewish holiday has been lost. We can't let that happen. We want our kids to be Americanized. We want them to fit in. We give them all kinds of American names in addition to their Jewish name. But Hanukkah really has a very important message for today. We want this minor holiday's major message of Jewish pride to resonate throughout the holidays. So decorate your homes and give your gifts, but tell the story of Hanukkah. Let each night be a night where you express your sense of Jewishness and why you are proud to be Jewish. Share each night a story of Jewish pride, whether it's from great-grandpa grandpa, grandma, yourself, or the children themselves. And with this expression, the light of Hanukkah will be not only the light of the fire, it will be the light that dwells within, that glows so very bright with Jewish pride. Every night of Hanukkah, 5 o'clock, I hope you join the clergy as we tell our Hanukkah stories and share the stories of our lay leaders, and we light the menorah together as a community. Let's use this Hanukkah celebration as an opportunity to teach Jewish values, and most importantly, celebrate with Jewish pride. Shabbat Shalom. Our service nears an end. We turn to the Adoration on page 586. If you are able, please rise. Almost forgot my math. Hold on.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula li'otzeh breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, ve'lo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo som chelkenu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom ha'hu. Echad.
598 is our Kaddish prayer. If there are names on the Facebook web stream you would like to submit for Kaddish, please do so. We recall those who died in recent days: Barbara Carroll, Janet Schlesinger, Barry Gordon, Gary Downs, Joan Gardner, Carol Frank, Dee Bell, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Dick Ranich, Betty Varenhold, Hodman, Elaine Scher, Gertrude Genzer, Janice Gershovsky, Carol Carter, and James Fox. In the Yortsites we recall are Lori Alberton, Leonard Gersh, Cohen, Nancy Collin, Saul DeVal, Jacob Rice Eaton, Ken Enton, Adele Epstein, Hazel Ewan, Jerry Fox, Edmund Frank, Gertrude Frieden, Jarvis Frieden, Louis Gale, Frank Nagy, Lillian Goldberg, Helen Golovner, Joseph Gordon, Anna Green, Sarah Height, Ruth Jacobson, Ken Jensen, Nikki Johnson, David Jones, David Turbin, Lena Cranston, Emery Kritzler, Benjamin Liebman, Sina Lipcher, Louis Marr, Anna Margolis, Charles Marr, Michael Radojevich, Irving Reutman, Barry Roman, Sarah Schiffman, Arnold Skolnick, Molly Selnick, Rick Basendro, Hyman Silver, Betty Ratner, Trubenbach, Howard Waltman, Shirley Waxler, Leon Yanofsky.
We also have Arnold Yeager and Carl Halswald.
Together, Yit Gadol,
Oh,
Yit Kadash,
Shemei
Shemei Rabbah.
Rabbah.
Yomad Yivrach Hirutei V'Yamlich Malchutei. Chayechon V'Yomechon V'Yedechol Beit Yisrael. Magalav Izman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yishmei Rabba Mevorach Ve'olam Omei Maya. Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitramam V'Yitnaseh. V'Yitadar V'Yitalev V'Yitalal Shemei D'Kedusha B'Richu. Leila Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata. Tush B'Chata V'Nechamata. Yamiram B'Yalma V'Yimru Amen. Yishtom Rabba Min Shammai V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Osei Shalom B'Mramav. Huya Asei Shalom. Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
All right. We have a little wine, and the challah is brought to us by Janet Duda in honor of her 80th birthday. So we wish Janet a mazel tov and a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Many more years to come. So let's take a little bit of wine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
All right, let's take a look at Janet. Whoop,
That was my phone.
that's yours. At Janet's challah. And don't forget, if you'd like to sponsor the challah, I think there's a Google form. So please fill it out. We love looking. We've had sparkly, we've had raisins, we've had chocolate chips. And tonight we have traditional challah with raisins. Here we go.
Nice. Maybe some nuts too in there.
It's
Let me
already cut.
say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
B'te'avon.
Good. Really good.
Cinnamon sugar. That's going to make good French toast.
That is great. We'll be fighting over this challah. Now, I wanted to make sure. I know you wanted me to put in a plug for something that you're doing, and did we do that at the beginning of services?
I think we did, but I don't think you plugged your own thing, which
Well-
was during Hanukkah, we're going to have another compelling conversations. You skipped over your thing.
That's true. So for many years, we've had compelling conversations where it's me and Ira Sternberg, who is a professional broadcaster. He's got a wonderful podcast, been around town forever. He is our moderator, and we're going to tackle the subject on December 16th. It is Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Kimberly Malloy, a marriage and family therapist, will join us. And we know that people are having a tough time. So we're going to talk about expert tips and techniques for keeping your sanity during the time of Corona. And like everything, just register now on the website. So we'll be plugging that. It's a compelling conversation. You don't have to be Jewish. The wisdom will be both Jewish and secular. If you know someone who has a tough time, some depression, anxiety, or what have you, I think this compelling conversation will be something very, very useful for them. And it's on December 16th. All right. Thank you so much, Rabbi Olshein. We're so grateful. Cantor.
Please get better.
Get better. Lee, thank you for doing the technology. There was probably a part of the service where you couldn't hear me, and that was because I turned myself off, okay? What can I tell you? You know, there's an on and an off, and they all love it so much when I sing with the off button, and I just have to remember to turn it back on. Ricky, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricky.
Enjoy being with you, as always. So let's go to our final song, which is?
Our final song tonight is Osei Shalom, a prayer of peace. May the one who makes harmony up in the high heavens bring that peace down to us, to all Israel, and indeed to all in the world. And so we'll sing a little Osei Shalom.